Hi, so I'm about to start making the grilled sirloin from cellar 282 on page 12. This is to pair with the Zappum Zukum. I don't have that one yet because it's new to us this year, so I'm going to pair it with the Opalo Malbec. And here are the ingredients ready to get started, and I'll walk you through this. I'm going to get the roasted vegetable portion of the meal going because it needs 45 minutes in the oven, so I've cut the vegetables, and what I'm going to actually do is put in the potatoes and the carrots first. They're going to take a little longer than the asparagus, so I'm going to set those on the tray. Well, here comes the first component, and this is milk and carrot puree essentially. So I've cooked the carrots, as you can see they're ready to go in. Put a little bit of the liquid into the blender first, so that the solids don't get stuck in the blades. And then I'm going to add the carrots. I'm going to add a little bit more of the milk, but not all of it, because I don't know what consistency this is going to be. So rather than you hear the blender, I'm going to blend this and I'll be back. Okay, so I did turn out using all 300 milliliters of the milk, and it's come to a great consistency. I'm just going to give it a try here. They say that you know you're a som when you start spitting some of the wine that you're trying, and that you're a real home chef when you've got tasting spoons by the stove. So I've got that, and I'm going to try this. Yeah, that's great. It's a good consistency, so it's going to sit on the plate well. And it's also got some saltiness from having cooked in the water and salt. So I think it's perfect. So there we are for first component. So carrots and potatoes ready to go in the oven. Make sure you leave space between them or else they steam one another. So it's important for roasting that they have some space. I originally was trying it on this smaller pan and they were just too close together. So I've dirtied another pan. And I've left the asparagus out because they won't take as long as 45 minutes at 400. So I'm going to add those a little later. And here comes another component, is that the recipe called for the eggplant to be blackened. And I didn't know what that meant. I've never done an eggplant before. So I roasted this eggplant for 35 minutes. I asked Google, and Google said 35 minutes to roast an eggplant. So there is the roasted eggplant. We're going to do something with that in a minute. We're halfway through the roasted vegetables, and so now it's time to add the asparagus to it, because they don't take as long. There we go. And then that goes back into a 400-degree oven, and then we'll go on again. Okay, so here goes nothing with the Babaganoush. I've never made it, and so I'm putting in the eggplant with its skin, as the recipe calls for. And I did put a little bit of oil in the bottom first so that this goes in the blender like this. So I've got the whole eggplant in the blender. I'm going to do a little bit of olive oil. And rather than you having to listen to the blender, we're going to pause here and we'll come back. Here we are, my very first Babaganoush. It's the second component. It is now ready. It took about a teaspoon of salt and 8 or 9 turns of pepper on my pepper grinder, and I think that it's perfect. So onward and upward. We're ready to plate now. So I've got the plates. They've been in the oven, so they're nice and warm. So some of the carrot. And then some of the Babaganoush. Go the other way. Smear it that way. It made a lot, so I've done a couple of ramekins for beside the plates when they come out. I did the sirloin on the barbecue. Did one for the two of us, for Miriam and me, because that was tons. So I bet you this one will end up being mine. This one will end up being Miriam's. There, and then I've got the roasted vegetables. They roasted up absolutely beautifully. So some carrots and some potatoes. There. And same thing here. And some asparagus. And there we have a plate that looks kind of like what Mauricio put in the book, and he was actually here at the house to do a barbecue with us when he visited Canada and visited some of our Opimian members. So there it is, and then we'll just show you a final shot. Thanks a lot. Here we are, Mauricio Lorca's grilled sirloin with roasted vegetables and Babaganoush. And I'm pairing this with the Lorca Apollo. And next year, when the Zappum Zuckum that I order comes in, they're both Malbecs, I'll be pairing it again with them. Cheers.